so let's go ahead and jump right into this video. If I'm doing a very colorful look, I just generally go ahead and line the bottom of my brows, and that was the Amicole brow pencil. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the bottom of my brows with the Jaclyn Cosmetics concealer because it self-sets and I don't need to set it with a powder. I like to go ahead and prime my eyes with an eyeshadow primer. I have been using the Urban Decay Primer Potion, but I will list a few others that are more affordable that also work really, really well. We're going to go in with the Juvia's Place Eye Prep Eye Prime Eyeshadow Primer. Yes, I know there are other primers like the P. Louise and a few others, but you know, once I start using a Juvia's Place product, I generally just use it until it's done. I like blending it with a fluffy blending brush because it helps you blend it evenly and also just gives you a smooth base. This brush is actually from BH Cosmetics. The specific brush is not available, but you can use this brush set for the eyes because it comes with everything you could possibly need, including a fluffy blending brush. Okay, so I will link that brush down below as well. BH Cosmetic brushes are really, really good. And if you don't want that, I will link a Sigma brush that could do pretty much the same thing. Today we're using the Colored Rain Vivid Pigments palette because it has all matte, very pigmented shades. I'm using first that yellow shade in there with another fluffy blending brush. I like to just lay down my transition, and when I'm picking a transition, I pick it based on what I think is going to look good together, or what I want the transition to look, not necessarily what the natural color gradients into. I know that I wanted to go in with the orange because the orange naturally graduates and blends into yellow. So I went ahead and used a smaller, flatter brush to apply the yellow into my crease, and I just try to blend it as lightly around the edges as possible so that the yellow and the orange can blend in together. Now when you're blending your colors, in order not to break down your base in your eyeshadow, very lightly touch your skin with the brush. Okay, don't push the brush into your skin because it's gonna break down your base and the whole eyeshadow is just gonna break up on you. If you go in very lightly touching your skin when you're blending, it's gonna give you a beautiful gradient and the blend is gonna look really, really nice. Next, I went in with that purple shade in the palette, but for some odd reason, I cannot find that footage, but I did use a very small, more compact brush to apply that purple, and I only applied the purple into my crease, that very deep purple, and because I wanted the purple to act as a deep crease color. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and mark where I'm gonna cut my crease because my eyes do roll in when I look up. So I apply a little bit of eyeshadow base and then I look up. That will mark where my eye will end if I were looking straight at you. And I generally like to cut my crease a little bit above that. That way, when I'm looking up, you can still see whatever it is that I have done on my eyes. I'm using a flat concealer brush, taking my time and cutting my crease. After you cut your crease, you have to make sure that you're blending your base in as much as you did before you actually put your eyeshadow on. So you have to make sure that you're blending it in so that the whole base is nice and smooth before you apply anything on top of that. Okay, so here is that little brush that I use to apply the purple, and I'm applying the purple on the outer corner of my eyeshadow once again to give it some depth and also just to make it look really, really good. Okay, I'm building it up, so I go in, I tap into it, I check the shade, and then I go back into the palette and I just tap it in. Tapping eyeshadow onto your base will make sure that you're getting a good amount of pigment on the eyes, and also it's gonna make sure that you're not blending too soon so that you don't break up your eyeshadow base. Next, I'm going in with that orange shade just to, recreate that gradient I did on my actual eye. And I feel like it's a very good gradient. I don't know why I thought of purple and orange, but I like it and it looks good. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with our yellow shade just to make sure that, the gradient is nice and pretty. And I'm using a fluffy brush because I wanted the shades to be as light as possible and not as intense as I used on my transition shade. Next, we're gonna go into the Pat McGrath palette. I wanted to use some of her shimmer shades because they were light and it would give me a nice shimmer to the eyes without changing the shade of my base. After my foundation was done, I went in with a little bit more of my eyeshadow base. I'm going to apply that on my lower lash line because if you want your lower lash line to show pigment really, really well, you're going to have to put some of your eyeshadow base down. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using a concealer brush and also making sure that it is a small, thin line and blending it in so that it's not just a big blob of eyeshadow base on my lower lash line. Going in with that small brush that we used for our purple, I'm applying some of the purple as close to my lash line as possible and also making sure that I cover all of that white that I put down. I'm also linking that purple to the purple on my eyelid so that everything looks seamless and beautiful. Going in with the concealer, I'm going to clean the outer corner of my eyeshadow because I want it to look as sharp and clean lined as possible. And once again, this is the Jaclyn concealer. Now at this point, this is when I go in and do my full brows. I know myself, if I do my full brows before my eyeshadow base, I always end up ruining my brows. So I love doing my brows after my foundation is done because I don't want to have to do the same work twice. Now I go back in with the brush. I don't put any concealer on the brush, but I just clean the bottom of the brows. Next, I'm going in with our orange shade just to blend that purple out a little bit. Ever so lightly because I want it to have a nice gradient and not just have a purple shade on the bottom of my lash. Next, I'm going in with the Sephora Collection Precision Eyeliner. It's a matte liner, very thin brush, and I don't line my eyes all the way to the outer corner. I stop exactly where the purple starts and I just blend it and follow my cat eye shape. Next, I'm going in with my setting powder to make sure that the little white base in the corner of my eyes blends into my skin as beautifully as possible. Applying some mascara on my lashes, and I'm going in with a little bit of clear lash glue on where my cut crease is. I bought these glitter pieces from Amazon, so I went ahead and just applied some gold to pick up on the yellow detail on my eyes, and I absolutely love it. I'm also using a disposable lip doe foot to apply my glitter pieces. Going in with one of these Kiss lashes, and I go ahead and apply it, and this is how I created this very gorgeous purple gradient eyeshadow look. I used a red lip liner on my waterline. I think this was a Jacqueline red lip liner, but I didn't film that part, so I wasn't able to show it. Let me know down below in the comments if you would try this look. Let me know what you think about it. I think it's very cute. It's colorful, it's bold, but it doesn't just take over your face. It just adds a little bit extra compared to a nude look. Thank you so much for watching. I love you lots, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.